The Marvel Cinematic Universe has been going on for 14 years now, with a staggering 27 films under its belt. Most of the films filled with incredible shock and awe and giving many moviegoers cinematic events that will live in infamy. Their newest film, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, is the 28th film now for the MCU, and while it does deliver in terms of shock and awe, there really isn't much else to it. Which is surprising to say, since Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness is genuinely not like any other MCU film to date, but simply does not deliver in the high expectations that fans had for it. Returning for the film are Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Benedict Wong, and Rachel McAdams as Doctor Strange, Wanda Maximoff, Wong, and Christine Palmer respectively. These characters have already appeared in various other MCU films and shows, so that alone may be staggering enough for someone to be put off going into this film. Joining the cast is newcomer Xochitl Gomez, who plays as America Chavez. We'll get to her character during the general plot explanation, but overall, they all played their parts right, and Miss Gomez looks to have a bright future ahead. Before going into the general plot of the film, we have to address the elephant in the room. Or pink elephant in the room, I should say. Sam Raimi has returned to the world of directing Marvel movies since 2007, where he directed the commercially panned but somewhat charming film known as Spider-Man 3. If you are familiar with Sam Raimi's other works, you should know that his specialty is in over-the-top horror, as seen in films like Evil Dead and Darkman. Techniques that he likes to use in these films include close-up facial expressions, first-person lurking angles, gory action scenes, and most noticeably, comedic effects that seem out of place, but for some strange reason, work at the moment of viewing. All of this is present in Multiverse of Madness, and while fans of Sam Raimi's 30 plus years of directing will find it tolerable and enjoyable, most of the general public would be put off from his style, as his style of directing is not for everybody. Younger fans going in hoping for an Avengers-like film are going to be thrown for a huge loop. With that said, what exactly is Multiverse of Madness? Well, the film follows a teenager named America Chavez with the ability to jump from one universe to another, whom is being pursued by demonic avatars in every universe. She stumbles to the main universe and is brought forth to Doctor Strange, who is reluctant to trust since she has had a bad experience with another Doctor Strange from another universe. From there, Doctor Strange goes to Wanda Maximoff, who is now going by the Scarlet Witch, based off the events that happened in the Disney Plus series, WandaVision. From there, without spoiling the overall plot of the film, is where the film kicks into high gear, and Doctor Strange and America Chavez find themselves in another universe, confronted by surprising and returning faces from the lore of Marvel Comics. One could use their imagination to conjure up amazing scenes and interactions with many characters with a vague plotline like that, which is why it is sad to say that anyone's expectations of this film will not be met simply for the fact that it's too ambitious for any director to do, let alone Sam Raimi, with a 2-hour runtime. I'm not saying that the character interactions aren't there, because they are there, and they are crowd-pleasing, but they don't really last very long, and are not the focal point of the main story. Instead, the film is largely a huge game of cat and mouse, filled with horror elements and easily the most bloody and violent scenes seen in any MCU franchise thus far. One scene saw my theater all gasp at horror to what was shown on the screen, which is saying something, since I don't think Thanos' snap got that kind of reaction from my memory at least. All of this, unfortunately, isn't enough to give Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness the staying factor and relevance that previous MCU films had that came before it. So, is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness too good? Shockingly, no. The expectations for this film, given the fact that Marvel owns the rights to most of their characters, are far too high, and it simply put, does not meet those expectations. As said before, the cast plays their parts great, but Sam Raimi's style may be too jarring for many hoping to see a Marvel event that is clearly just not in this film. Maybe it exists in another universe. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, directed by Sam Raimi and starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen, is now in theaters. For more videos on gaming, figures, movies, and weird shit, like and subscribe to Too Good Content Universe. We'll see you next time.